guys, PortalMaster9351 here, and in this video I wanted to talk about a little bit of exciting news that was discovered today thanks to Remixed Skylanders. He makes some of the best customs that I've ever seen, and I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description. But basically, he has a contact that lives in the United Kingdom, and I believe works at Smith's. Don't quote me on that, but that's my current understanding. Smith's is essentially the United Kingdom's version of Toys R Us, or at least that's what I could figure out based on, looking at it. Originated in Scotland, it originated in Ireland, moved to the rest of the UK, pretty much stays in the UK, just like Toys R Us. Their prices are raised. I mean, basically, it's the UK's Toys R Us. Well, what that particular person found was a Chompy Mage at Smith's. And actually, if you look right now, I'll put a little panel up to the side, Chompy Mage is currently on stock online at Smith's, and I'll leave a link down to that in the description if you live in the United Kingdom and want to get a Chompy Mage. Now, as you guys know, for pretty much the rest of the world, Chompy Mage has not been available, period. I mean, the only reason I have a Chompy Mage is because I was one of the few who got that Amazon pack of 5 villains for the price of 4, I believe it was. It was a great deal, especially since I now have a Chompy Mage that's worth well over $100. So it's a very good deal. Now, of course, it's always infuriating when we don't have figures released in certain countries. I mean, you have the Yawn Traps. You currently have the Lost Imaginite Mines. Series 2 Drobot was another example of one that didn't get released in Europe, but was released in the Americas. So it's interesting kind of how these regional things work. Now, one interesting thing to take note of is that the Yawn Traps were released in Australia, which has a population of approximately, if I'm correct, it has about 12 million. Europe, where the Lost Imaginite Mines is, currently has several hundred million, if not over a billion, residents. So it's kind of interesting. The Yawn Traps were understocked, even though they were available in Australia, there were very few actually available there compared to the amount that would be released in the US, because Australia's population is tiny compared to the 350 million people that live in the US. If you understand what I'm saying, basically, stock is sort of correlates with population. So if there's only a couple million people, you're not going to see that many traps or figures or anything being released there. So currently, I would say that Chompy Mage is in the middle of those two. The UK has a population higher than Australia, but lower than mainland Europe, so stock is going to be a little bit easier to get than the Yawn Trap, but harder to get than the Lost Imaginite Mines currently is. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that Chompy Mage will be migrating outside of the United Kingdom very soon, because what this proves, essentially, is that Chompy Mage is not a straight-up Amazon exclusive like we at one point feared. And, there was some wording, I believe, in that bundle that made it sound like that Chompy Mage would be exclusive to that bundle only for a few months. Well, it's now been very many months now, and still Chompy Mage has not seen a widespread release. I looked a couple of months ago, he was selling $100 new in box on eBay. I looked like a month ago, and it was $160 in new in box on eBay. I looked today, and it's up to $180 new in box for a Chompy Mage, and that is utterly ridiculous. The only one I can ever recall going higher than that was Whirlwind and the Yawn Traps. Those are the only normal figures that I believe have ever gotten that high. And the reason Whirlwind was got that high was because of a similar issue where Whirlwind was initially only released in Targets and was the only Air Skylander available at launch for Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. So that's why the price, I think, went up to about $300 around Christmas time 2011. So I'm really hoping that Chompy Mage does not turn into Whirlwind and ever go that high. Of course, Whirlwind did see a widespread release later, which is why I'm very hopeful for Chompy Mage actually seeing a widespread release in America. Perhaps it will come along the same time as the Lost Imaginite Mines and maybe even the 5 other creation crystals, which at this point is what I'm most worried about becoming Yawn Trapped, as you could say, or just basically not released in America, or just not released at all, quite honestly. So we'll have to see, but either way, this is definitely very good news for those of you who were not able to snag Chompy Mage off of that Amazon bundle back before the game released. So hopefully, we'll keep our hopes up that Chompy Mage will see a widespread release throughout the Americas, throughout mainland Europe, throughout everywhere, so that everybody has an equal opportunity to get their hands on Chompy Mage, who is probably one of my favorite figures from Skylanders Imaginators. That's all I have for you guys today. Tell me down in the comments, do you have Chompy Mage? Were you able to pick him up in that Amazon bundle? Have you bought him on eBay? Just tell me how you've gotten him. If you have him, if you want him, just tell me all that stuff down in the comments. Anyways, this has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.